Business of Fashion Gala, walking the red carpet alongside Yinka Ash, founder of Nigerian luxury brand Ashluxe, wearing a custom couture gown designed exclusively for the occasion. Sarah's moment was about more than fashion. It was about African luxury, influence, and storytelling, taking its rightful place on the global stage. And joining us to unpack this career milestone and what it means for the continent's creative economy is none other than Sarah Langa. Sarah, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to The Upside. I want to start off with the very basic question. Who inspired or influenced your style growing up?
Thank you for having me. What an interesting question because I ended up in this career. And my mother actually reminded me that it doesn't start with me, it starts with my family and my grandmother. My grandmother was actually a dressmaker, seamstress, and my mother was she used to do all of the intricate beading that my grandmother of my grandmother's pieces. So I come from a background of fashion. My family are all either dressmakers, designers. My grandmother and my mother grew up in Soweto, and they were known as, the Vera Wangs of Umfulo. So it's quite interesting coming from a family background, exploration and creativity. I grew up with like layers and layers and meters of fabric that I could play around with and just experiment with, and also just having an open-minded family that enabled me to, explore my identity and be able to, try out different trends and different designs of my own as a young child. It was predestined for me to eventually end up in the fashion industry. So yeah,
That sounds
thanks to my
very.
grand, I guess.
Listen, thank to all the matriarchs in your family because they've really kickstarted what looks like a purposeful journey for you. Talk to us about this collaboration. I'm very fascinated by your
Yeah.
collaboration with Yinka Ash and the Ash Lux team. How did all of that come about?
So, funny story, I went to a high school that was quite diverse when it comes to different nationalities within the African continent. So, because we offered other languages such as Portuguese, French, a lot of immigrants that moved to South Africa ended up in my school. So I managed to build a very great international community even from a young age. I have a lot of friends from Angola, I have a lot of friends from Mozambique, and I kept those connections even in my adulthood. And it's what is interesting is the fact that, African fashion collides on so many different levels. Not only do we have amazing designers from Nigeria that come to South Africa to shoot um, their campaigns,
Yeah.
whether in Cape Town or Joburg. It was a great opportunity for me to go into those markets. Yinka Ash is not only a good friend of mine, but he, is a designer that's well known in South Africa for his very unique aesthetic and his designs and how he celebrates Nigerian culture across Africa and the UK. So it was really a no-brainer every time he shoot his campaigns in South Africa that I wanted to be aligned with his brand. So I think it was during COVID. He shot a very big campaign in Johannesburg, which I was a part of. I played a key role in that campaign. Because he wanted to tap into the South African market, and I was at the time a familiar face. So we shot that campaign, and then he opened his first store in South Africa, and he's really done so well for himself, not only across Africa and Nigeria, but also in South Africa and in the UK. And I moved to the UK shortly after. So our journeys were in parallel and quite aligned. And we just always found ourselves working on different projects. And when he approached me with a Business of Fashion, number one, I was honored because I think I'm one of the very first content creators in South Africa to have represented his brand, and it also shows the cross-cultural impact of having people from different parts of Africa come together and create one fashion narrative. And yeah, I think for me, it was special because it was having a Nigerian brand and having a South African muse, and it reflects not only his journey as a designer, but also the potential of other African designers. How, as Africans, we can come and become, we can come and be one in our style journey and in our style stories, you know, because there's so much overlap in our cultures and in our languages. So why not, you know, represent that in fashion?
A borderless Africa indeed. Let's talk about this dress that you wore on the red carpet.
Yeah.
Stunning dress, by the way. Black with gold accents. What was the story that was being told, the emotions that you wanted to convey through this dress?
So I had so many options to choose from. Yinka, one thing about him, as much as he's expressive in his pieces that he designs, he's also quite, yeah, he's diverse in his offering, because he understands that his customer looks like so many different people. He caters to so many different body types, clients. So it was amazing having over 15 different options to choose from. But this dress specifically spoke to me because I found that it was a dress that said so much but so little. And you know, we didn't want to come across as like, oh, this is an African brand, look at the African prints, look at the African, like you know, like in his previous designs, the African colors. We wanted to have the brand name the focal point, because the brand name Ashluxe tells such an incredible story, and we wanted that to come across in the dress. And for me, I love the dress because I always, like, throughout the night, people kept coming up to me and asking me, you know, about the dress and what, you know, how I felt in it. And I was like, it reflects who I am as a person. You know, it was really chic and, you know, just classy in the front, and at the back was the main part of the dress, like having the branding in gold at the bottom. It was just like, yeah, it was a showstopper. And yeah, I think I picked it because of that, because it was quite multi-dimensional. You know, you had the option of, like, you know, just shooting it in the front, and at the back, you know, tell a different story. So yeah, I loved it. Honestly, out of all of the options I have, for me, that was the one dress that I knew I'd feel the most comfortable in.
That is a beautiful story, Sarah. And I love how you talk about how it's not a typical African dress. And also the story around it is quite interesting, because the design was crafted in Lagos, and then it moved to Paris so that you can complete it. So there's a whole cross-continental creative exchange that took place. Sarah, thank you very much. If we want to, you know, engage you and watch, you know, your thoughts and follow your thought catalog around African luxury and what it means on the global stage today, where can we find you, and to see more of, you know, your collaboration with brands such as Ashluxe?
So my main platform is Instagram. I'm on Instagram as Sarah Langa. And yeah, same on TikTok. Yeah, but you I don't know if you know this, but I've transitioned into interior design as well. So I've started interior design company called SL Interior. So between those three platforms, you'll be able to see what I get up to.
Sounds really exciting. I would love to have you back so we can talk about interior design, because it's never each sold separately. Fashion, interior design, you know, and cuisine, all of those wonderful themes come to as lifestyle, you know, under the lifestyle umbrella here on the African continent. Thank you very much, Sarah Langa, joining us in her capacity this time around as a global style icon / very educated woman / interior designer. Really just such an honor to have caught just a few minutes of her time this afternoon. It is 15:31. Let's cross to the sports desk with Fikile Ngwati.
Get the news, music, and lifestyle of Africa on Channel Africa.